Hello there, and welcome to Integrated Spectrum of Health Functional Medicine membership. My name is Lynn Jocelyn. I'm a functional medicine trained physician assistant, and I blend my experience with conventional medicine settings as a physician assistant, along with my advanced training through the Institute for Functional Medicine and my love and passion around my Certified Food and Spirit Practitioner certification, which blends color, science, and beauty into the healing process. So let's get started today. I always like to begin these presentations with an opportunity to bring you into the space, an opportunity for you to practice a simple exercise that oftentimes you can bring with you to your day and your regular activities that help support regulating your nervous system. And this is a really wonderful, simple one. It's a breathwork practice called coherent breathing. And I like to think of it as breath for life because you can do this at any point. It's free, and it's a really nourishing, simple nervous system reset. So as you can see here, basically what you're going to do is you're going to inhale and exhale for equal counts. This particular 5.5 seconds has been studied to be really supportive for resetting your nervous system. But really, all of us are individuals, and you will find your own cadence. So really, it's just equal inhale, equal exhale, and there's no pause between. So it ends up being a really beautiful circular process. So to begin with, find yourself sitting or standing comfortably, and just take a minute first to just notice what's going on with your current breath. What did you bring into this presentation? Are you thinking about everything that you need to do, everything that was happening right before this? I invite you to let that all go. Bring yourself into this present moment. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your legs, your bottom in the chair, your back against the chair if you're sitting. Now go ahead and comfortably, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And I'm going to talk you through the first couple, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to find your own cadence and do the coherent breathing. So we'll go ahead and begin to inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now continue on your own, finding your own cadence, inhaling, equaling exhaling without pause in between. Two more at your own pace. Once you've completed those, go ahead and bring some movement into your hands. Rub your hands together. Open your eyes when you're ready. And welcome back into this space, just a bit more grounded and ready to receive the information. So today's presentation agenda is the beginning of a series of presentations that I will be offering over the next few weeks. We're going to talk about the foundational lifestyle factors, which are, we're going to go through them on the next slide, but there's 5 of them, and they become the basis of all foundational health. So no matter who you're working with, no matter what medications or supplements or other things that you may be taking, working continually at these foundational lifestyle factors support all the rest of the healing. It's really important for me to make this actionable for you. So for every presentation, I hope that you walk away with 1 or 2 actionable steps, and I will bring that to your attention. So hopefully you can write that down after each presentation. I want to personalize this. So feel free to pause this video at any time and think about your own process, perhaps whatever topic I'm talking about, how does that pertain to you personally? And how can you take this information, if it's not exactly speaking to you, how can you take the general information and personalize it even further for you? And then simplify. I really do believe with all the health information that's coming at us at all times, through the interwebs, through conversation, through everything we've got, simplifying will support you in reaching your goals quicker than trying to do everything at once. So always going back to that simplify impact. So the 5 foundational lifestyle factors that I'll be walking you through over the next few weeks are sleep, nutrition, movement, stress, relationship, and community. What are these and where do they come from? Well, if you're alive today and if you're interested in health, anywhere you look, you're seeing things come at you. How to sleep better, how to exercise better, do this type of exercise for this type of healing, what to eat this diet, not that diet, stress, breath work, and relationships. And so I'm trained under functional medicine, and functional medicine is basically a tool for me to evaluate the human body through integrated cellular biology. And we use something called the functional medicine matrix, which is what you're looking at. Although I've kind of covered up the matrix with the focus, on the foundational lifestyle factors, because that's what we're talking about over the next few presentations. And so we're going to talk, for functional medicine, we call this the foundation, the base of the matrix. And this is oftentimes, I would say almost always, we begin here, because sometimes dialing each of these in for an individual can really move health and healing forward without doing a lot of other things. So what can we do in each of these areas to really support your healing? So as you can see, this is just a sample, but for instance, in this person, Wendy Wellness, we look at sleep and relaxation, focusing on a regular bedtime, limiting coffee, and using magnesium. Exercise, really dialing in. What does that exercise plan look like for each person? Nutrition, what genetic predispositions and then epigenetics, what is presenting itself currently in their symptomatology, and then how can we personalize that nutritional plan to them? Stress is part of everything we do, and if you're working with me, that is really foundational, and I really like to even begin with that and then keep that going throughout all things. But vagal toning, breath work, something similar to a breath practice we just did, and then relationships, also super foundational to the work that I do with people. Community is absolutely critical to support healing, longevity, and quality and vitality of life. So these are the foundational lifestyle factors. So what do we do with them all? There's so much information and it can feel really overwhelming. So my goal with these presentations that I will be doing, today is a big overview. We're going to hit high points of each of them. I'm going to give you time to pause the video and do some journaling for yourself. And then as we move forward, for each of the lifestyle factors, there will be an overview, so an overview on sleep, and then the next presentation will be maybe some clinical things about sleep. So we'll do 2 presentations through each foundational lifestyle factor. And then at the end of this, you'll have a whole library of presentations that you can tap into when you need or as things come up through your life and health journey. So I love these couple cartoons for you. The top prescription is for your arthritis, but it may cause a heart attack. The second prescription should prevent a heart attack, but it could damage your liver. The third should prevent liver trouble, but it may destroy your spleen. The fourth protects the spleen, but it has been known to eat away the prostate. The fifth, so as you all know, this is not the absolute way to go. I'm a firm believer. I'm trained in Western medicine. I have advanced study in functional medicine, and that's truly my passion. I do believe there's a time and place for pharmaceuticals. I also believe pharmaceuticals are not the only answer. Working with foundational lifestyle factors, working with targeted supplements, targeted nutritional plans is really the both and. And ideally, we're minimizing the number of pharmaceuticals you need so that your own body is finding its alignment and ability to heal. So it's okay, Stan, just pick one flower and start from there. So again and again and again, I will be bringing this back to simplicity. How can we simplify so that you are making forward movement? Clarity. So as we work to simplify, it's super important to build clarity. And I invite you to, if you don't have a piece of paper right now, go ahead and pause this video, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and get clear on what is it that you are wanting? What brought you to wanting to watch this video on foundational lifestyle factors? And so that you can set your intention and walk away with something that will be supportive, personalized, and something you can put into action right away. Another important thing as we move through this to further personalize this is your values. A person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life is the definition of value. So when I'm working with somebody, one of the ways we minimize overwhelm and help discern what is the next best step with this plethora of information that we can be doing and things that you can be doing. First, getting clear on what your personal values are. It's super important that you know what is driving you through your values. And then you look at your choices. You need your choices to align with your values for everything to move forward. If your choices do not align with your values, the things that are important to you, there will be misalignment leading to dissonance or discordance. And I guarantee you, even when you try to override that, your cells know. So for instance, if you are following a plant-based diet because this is something that ethically is really important to you, and you and I are working together, and I suggest a food plan that brings in animal products because I believe that that's really important for your healing, but your value system is not aligned with that, then the two of us, let's talk and let's create something personalized. How can I support you in that plant-based diet to continue to move forward? We need to follow through your lens, your values, so that your choices are in alignment. So just a quick infographic to really see that. Your choices, your values, your health goals, in the center there is the sweet spot. Okay, so we're going to begin. Today's presentation is really, I'm hitting the high points of each of the foundational lifestyle practices, or each of the foundational lifestyle factors. I'm going to give you maybe one or two practices, and I'm going to give you time to pause the video and either answer some questions or write some things down so that you're able to use this presentation as getting clear. Where are you right now? And that allows you awareness of where you can make changes going forward. So the first foundational lifestyle factor is our sleep. And restorative sleep is absolutely critical to being vital, to health, to healing. If you have chronic illness, this is where we do most of our healing. So let's simplify. A quick little clinical learning. Insomnia affects 40% of the people. Have trouble, what does it say? 40% of people suffer from consistently poor sleep, and 80% of people have trouble sleeping at least once a week. So insomnia is a big problem in our society. And there's many reasons for this. And when we get to the topic in the presentation on sleep, we'll go into this much deeper. But what are some of the common sleep disorders that cause a problem to have trouble falling asleep or insomnia? Some people may have trouble making melatonin, may have a vitamin deficiency, gut microbiome imbalance. Our gut microbiome, yes, it does impact our sleep. Cortisol or HPA imbalance. This is our stress response system. Blood sugar dysregulation, sleep disorders, chronic infections, and inflammation. That's just a few. So go ahead and pause the video, and I would love for you to take some time and write down what are your personal barriers to quality sleep. So without going any further, if you were just to write down what it is that you personally are struggling with, write those down. Okay, so pause the video to do that. And also, welcome back. I want you to go ahead and pause the video again. Now you know your barriers, you've written those down. Now go ahead and write down your current typical sleep hygiene routine. Now I don't want you to write down what you think you should be doing. I want you to write down what you're currently doing right here, right now. That way you know where you are today and where you can move as you continue to learn through these presentations. So go ahead and pause the video, and I'll see you back shortly. Okay, back again. Now, from that, looking at your barriers, looking at your sleep hygiene routine, I want you to choose one thing that you think you can work on with your sleep. And then you'll take this journal, this piece of paper, anything you're writing on, and you'll bring it to each of our presentations and further personalize this process for yourself. So pause the video and choose one thing that you would like to work on when it pertains to your sleep. Okay, welcome back. We're going to move right into the second foundational lifestyle factor, nutrition. We've heard this before, food is medicine. It truly is. If you think about every single day what you're putting into your body, it's foreign. It's something foreign outside of your body. You take it in, you chew it up, you swallow it, it gets to your stomach, it begins to digest, it gets into your small intestine, and we begin to absorb that. So that thing that was foreign becomes part of your cellular biology. So, do you want to be bringing in that Twinkie, or do you want to be bringing in this beautiful rainbow of nourishing, healthy, high-quality foods? Okay, so let's talk real quick on this topic, quick dietary challenges. What is out there that might be challenging when you're thinking about making a dietary change? So external influences and pressures. Perhaps you're really ready to step into a healing program and to change your foods, and you've got people that in your life that aren't doing that, and they may be saying, oh, it's just this one time, go ahead and have this glass of wine, or it's just a bite of pizza, no big deal. So those external influences and pressures. Worry about making a fuss. Maybe you do want to choose into some dietary changes for yourself and you're going to a family event with lots of food, worried about making a fuss. All of these are really true. So as we're going through these, think about which ones may present challenges for you personally. Taste. Maybe you just don't like the taste of different foods. Decision fatigue. So much information coming at us at all times. Eat this way, this diet, that diet. What is best for you? It's exhausting. Expense. High quality foods can be expensive. And I would say they are expensive on the front end, but chronic illness is much more expensive on the back end. So if expense is one of the big challenges for you and we're working together, let's work together to figure out how to really dial this in for you so that expense is not a barrier. So, because there are some really great simple ways that you can make eating high quality foods less expensive. The busies, you're just busy. yeah, we've got lots of stuff going on. Who has time to meal prep and to eat healthy when you feel so busy? And then endless choices. So some quick things, tips as we're thinking about this and you begin to personalize your nutrition, foundational lifestyle factors. The environmental working group, this was from 2020, but these are still pretty much similar, but you can go to the environmental working group and see what the updated dirty dozen are. And these are the 12 foods that hold in or contain the most pesticides. So if you were to make one change, you could just change these 12 things and only buy organic of those products. So here's the rest. And then this is the biggest thing. If you are really struggling to make any dietary changes, crowd out the bad processed foods, the dairy, the gluten, with eating the rainbow. If you eat the rainbow every single day, you are nourishing your microbiome, you are nourishing your cells, and you will begin to change and begin to crave these things. And it's just plainly, it's beautiful to eat real, colorful, vibrant food. Hydration. Such a simple tool. I think most of us are walking around chronically dehydrated. So getting water every single day, making sure you're getting enough, is a great step towards healing. Okay, now I'm going to have you pause the video and grab your book, your pen, your paper, and write down your personal most common dietary challenge. And then choose one thing that you're going to work on. So before you pause the video, write down your most common dietary challenge and choose one thing that you're going to work on as you move through these videos when it comes to nutrition. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so we're moving into movement, and I like to call this movement versus exercise. Exercise has, it can be a trigger for people. I'm all about mindful, intentional movement daily. Do what you love, do what brings you joy, start slowly, do it with people, set challenges and goals for yourself, but move every day. And if you can move outside, that's even better. So just some things that movement does. Movement increases the number of mitochondria in the body. What's mitochondria? Mitochondria are the powerhouses of our cells. They create energy in our body, and that energy is used for the biological processes for us to digest, for our brain to work, for the muscles to work. And so movement increases the number of mitochondria, and movement actually stimulates the body to make more. So simple way to increase the energy in your body is to move. So go ahead and get ready to pause the video. I want you to write down your current movement routine. Now, not the movement routine that you want to be doing. You can put that to the side. What are you doing right now? And if you need to think about, you're not sure where you're at with that, what'd you do last week? What did your movement look like? How many times a week did you get out to move? And what was that movement? Did it bring you joy? And then once you get that, choose one thing that you want to work on as you move through this process. And remember, simplify, less is more. Choose one thing. So pause the video, and I'll see you back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So as we move forward, we are now on stress. This is the foundational lifestyle factor that affects all of us, right? Now, I'm excited to get to the presentation on stress because there's good stress and stress that stays on too long and becomes chronic. So our body actually needs some stress for the systems, for the immune system, for our body to function at its optimum. But unfortunately, in our society that is focused on producing, focused on not turning things off, focused on go, 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 stress can often overcome. Stress can also be created with certain chronic illnesses. So if your body, if you're fighting a biotoxin such as mold or Lyme, your body internally is stressed. Okay, so there's external stresses and then internal stresses. And usually, I believe almost every human is affected by each of those in some way or the other. So real quick, we're going to talk a little bit about the stress physiology. So what happens up here when we get a stressor that comes on board? The first thing that happens is our limbic system that sits deep within the brain gets turned on, and it's like danger, not danger, and it asks that simple question. If that answer is danger, the next thing that happens is our sympathetic nervous system comes on board, and that kicks out adrenaline. That's where you get that rapid heartbeat and your ability to be able to pick up and run, and norepinephrine. So those are our really fast neurohormones that get turned on to stimulate our body to be able to basically run from the tiger. Okay, so when that goes on, and that only lasts about 5 minutes, those neurohormones move through our body really quick. But then we need something else to come on board. So the HPA axis comes on board. And this we've talked about in many prior presentations, but this is the hypothalamus deep within the brain, tells the pituitary gland to stimulate the adrenal gland to make cortisol. And cortisol works in a number of areas in our body. We need it for those acute stressors, but we don't need it to stay on chronically. When it stays on chronically and the stress response, this is the physiology of stress, raises our blood sugar, causes insulin resistance, increases hunger and sugar cravings, decreases the ability to burn fat, suppresses that HPA axis, causing hormone imbalances because that HPA axis is also telling our body hormones to make through our thyroid and through sex hormones, increases belly fat, increases risk of fatty liver, and raises the level of fatty acids and triglycerides in your blood. This is just a little smattering of the physiology of stress. We have different types of stress. We have perceived stress, so you can literally visualize and think about a deadline that is in your future, or an event, or maybe a hard conversation that you have over and over in your head, and that's creating the same amount of stress in your body that when you're really in that event itself. So if you think about that, you're double or tripling up your stressor by thinking of it, perseverating on it, and then having the real conversation. Circadian disruptions, rhythms that happen in our system and our physiology due to light and dark cycles of day and night. And we'll go much deeper into that with sleep. Glycemic dysregulation. This is a metabolic stressor in the body as the blood sugar goes up and down. If you have high peaks and deep lows, then our body has to work harder, and there's stress on our systems. And then inflammatory signals, either acute, we get exposed to a viral infection, a common cold, the immune system comes on, kicks out a bunch of inflammatory signals, and cortisol raises. Now, if these become chronic, that's where we get the immune problems with that immune system being on all the time. So I want you to now pause the video and write down 4 or 5 sentences describing how stress plays a role in your life. Okay, welcome back. So before we leave stress, because it's so important, I want to talk you through some tips and tools that you can begin right away before waiting for the stress presentation. So I love something called active recovery, and it is so critical. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this. Both of these look like recovery, right? I've definitely had weeks where I'm this little guy curled up on my couch with the remote, with my favorite drink in hand. And so this right here is what we call passive recovery. You may think it's helping you, and sometimes we just need that, and that's okay. There is no judgment. But this type of passive recovery does not replenish or reduce the stress response in a way that gets us ready to perform or to wake up the next day restored and refreshed. This is a form of meditation, and this is one of the ways to active recovery. So even if you were going to do this guided passive recovery on a Friday night because you're exhausted, I invite you to interrupt that pattern before you get there with 5 to 10 minutes of an active recovery to see if it will support you in wanting to get to that passive. Okay, so what are some active recovery recommendations? Cold immersion, heat, sauna, massage, breathwork, meditation, gratitude journaling, sensory deprivation, exercise and movement, yoga, nature immersion, Epsom salt baths, wall staring. I actually find myself doing that when I'm really stressed, and socializing. And these are personal. They may work for you, may not. So what's the difference between that active and passive recovery? Active on the left, what we're looking for is, if you look here, you're going along, here's your baseline. Actually, where are we? Yeah, here's your baseline, stress comes on, and we do that active recovery as we come through here. And that active recovery, those things like sauna, cold immersion, meditation, breath work, restore our physiological systems. And when we come back online, we're at a higher new normal. Whereas over here, passive recovery, we have that stressor. We do the passive recovery, Netflix, maybe eating, mindless eating, drinking alcohol, scrolling, and that brings us down, but it doesn't replenish, so we stay at a new lower normal. So how does active recovery work? It activates our parasympathetic nervous system, provides that cognitive shift, changes how you think, and it also provides a physiological shift, how you feel. Real quick here, we've talked a lot about this, and we will get into this deeper in future presentations, but we have your parasympathetic, that's rest, digest, and restore, and our sympathetic, that is things that actually make our body fight or flight, things get up and go, get up and move. And so for instance, when you look at this is a parasympathetic. This works in this ventral vagal up here. This allows us to reset through these organs. It actually improves our digestion, and it improves our smooth muscle and relaxation, so we can restore and be more cognitively connected. The sympathetic, which we need for acute stressors, actually turns off our digestion, right? Because we don't want to be digesting when we're trying to run from the tiger. Vision might be more keen and acute. Heart rate will go up. Breathing patterns will help to bring that oxygen to the muscles if we need to run or handle something. So you can kind of get an idea. Of course, we'll go into this in much more depth when we talk about the stress. But ideally, active recovery turns this parasympathetic side on. Effective active recovery mitigates that chronic stress. So one of the things we're trying to do here, like I said, our bodies need a small amount of stress. We need that stress response to be turned off and not to stay on all the time. So here's our sympathetic and our parasympathetic. And if you look here, we have a moderate stressor. What happens? That sympathetic tone goes on. Great. We need that to happen. And then we bring it back down. That's what we need to happen. And then the parasympathetic, while the sympathetic gets quieted down, and then it comes back up here. When this is chronic, we stay in a diminished vagal tone. It doesn't come on to support. It gets activated, and we don't have the ability to really bring it back up to normal recovery. So how do we do these active recoveries? So this is the Flow Research Collective. They're very big on active recovery. So again, cold showers, ice baths, take a look here. You can screenshot this. These are wonderful. Start building these into your week. You've all seen this before if we're working together, but here's great vagal toning exercise to turn on that parasympathetic nervous system. Just breathe. So simple. Start with that coherence breathing. Inhale the same number Count as you exhale and create that beautiful circle to nourish and reset your system. Breath is free, accessible, available, and personal. Okay, so I went a little bit further into stress because it is that important. We'll do even more of a deep dive when we get to the stress presentations. Pause this video. I'd like you to choose one act of recovery that you think you can begin to schedule in to your regular schedule during your week. Okay, welcome back. So now we're here to talk about connection. Why is connection important for healing? Part of the reason I created Integrated Spectrum of Health Medical Membership is to create more connection and healing. When I was working in the conventional settings, again and again and again, I would work with people and sit with humans in the healing space, and isolation with their illness was huge. And I really wanted to change this by offering an option for connection and community, because I do believe no matter what chronic illness that you're dealing with and how much of a struggle is, if you don't feel alone in that, you will have more resiliency to move into healing in a deeper way. So, community and connection, and this looks different for everybody. Some people are really extroverted. They need bigger social connections. Other people need that one person or that one group or that one class that they take to really support them. So I would love to have you pause the video, write down what impact does community and your relationships have on your current state of health. And this is very personal. And then, before you come back on, choose one thing after you take some time to write. What impact does community and your relationships have on your current state of health? Choose one thing that you can begin to bring awareness to or begin to change. Okay, welcome back. We've made it through sleep, nutrition, movement, stress, and community. I hit some high points of each of those. You had an opportunity to write down something in each of those categories to personalize it to you. Now I want to bring you back to your values. After this video, take a look at everything you wrote down. Are these things in alignment with your personal values? There's a lot of shoulds out there. There's a lot of people saying, in order to be healthy, you must do this. If it does not align with your values, then it's going to be harder to be sustainable. So just ask yourself that question in all the things that you wrote down. This is about shifting priorities. So as we move through these presentations, I invite you to see where you can shift your priorities in your life. So this is just a bit of a seed plant. I'm not asking you to go shift all your priorities and have a whole new wellness plan right away. Just begin thinking of your weeks, your days, and where you can shift your priorities into health and wellness. Change is truly the only constant, no matter what the day, where you are in this stage of life, things are always changing. So I'm going to leave you with a few questions, and if you want to pause, these are great journaling prompts. If you want to pause the video and write each of these down to journal for later, please do so. What do you want your health for? Why is this important to you? What does your future look like without realizing your health and wellness goals? So if nothing changed and you didn't change anything else, what would your future look like? What becomes possible when you achieve your health goals and elevate your health and wellness? What becomes possible for you? What becomes possible for others? And what becomes possible for the world? This work is bigger than each of us individually. It truly has a ripple effect. I see it every day as I work one-on-one. I see it in our group visits. I see it in my own personal life. It's bigger than just us. So, hashtag be kind, and ultimately be kind to you. When you get overwhelmed or frustrated, or things are going along great and you have one of those days that are really hard, zoom out and see the big picture. So thank you for making it all the way to the end of the presentation. I look forward to connecting with you one-on-one if we're working together. And if not, please look forward to the ongoing free presentations that we have to support you on your health and wellness journey. Have a great day.